This world is not about living for others. It's about making it through. Doing the best you can do. This is my philosophy on it. You should be living for you. That's it. Not anyone else. What it is that people want you to feel some way. They want you to care. And when you don't, there's something wrong with you. But there's nothing wrong with me. When you stop caring, that's when they actually start to realize. That's when they actually start to feel everything. The only reason why I care is because I have a heart. But if I don't, there's nothing wrong with that. It shouldn't matter. No one should make you feel like you're supposed to. And when they do, try to. You don't have to answer them because you don't owe anything to anyone. All that you owe is to oneself. And you owe yourself the journey, not distractions, not to carry others' burdens. No, not to stop every time someone questions you about your decisions. Who are they? And who am I for you to care? When you start to continue on your journey solo, that is when you're free. just as it was supposed to be, just me. And whatever I've chosen or didn't choose to do, that's ultimately between me and my creator. It has nothing to do with you, just me and my creator. So why should I care? You hear this all the time. You shouldn't care what others think of you, what they say. It's true. It's true. And it's wise words. It is. But you don't realize it until you can actually act on it. You're going to go in life caring, overly caring, just as you're supposed to. Because there's stages, there's a time for it. Right? This is self realization so that you can have the self reflections. You went through these stages, these I call stages, but really they're lessons and points in your life where you either had to repeat them, you had to but then there's the stage where you're free from it. You can move on. So, growing pains is necessary. A Charlie horse when you're young is necessary. Just as you're humbled because it's necessary. There is a time. And then hopefully you're released from it. Those chains, that bondage. And then you reach a place, a space where you don't care. And you actually have a right to not care. You actually are given the gift to not care. You've done it. It's helped. It maybe took away from something, held you back, prevented something, but it was all necessary. And now you're free from it. You can actually live the life and continue the walk. Through the journey of me, the journey of you, with just you. Without needing or caring. your eyes are open wider, actually, because you start to realize all these wise sayings, why it's important not to care what people think or say or do. Especially to you. Again, when you're hearing these things as a youth, you try not to, but you're not free from it. You haven't been set free from your heart, from caring. But as you grow and experience, and you persevere through the stages through your journey, you see and understand that people only want you to care. People only want you to react. People only want to distract. When you're on your journey, going through these stages, holding burdens, your own, people only want you to hold on to them. They want you to care enough to. And once you do, you end up doing just that. The heart is tricky. That's another wise saying. Be careful. Be careful with your heart and who you allow and what you allow. That's why it's great to not have ever truly been heartbroken. I've been disappointed very much. Cracks in my heart, but broken, truly broken? I don't think so. What saves a broken heart, what prevents it, is understanding. I understand why it needed to happen. I understand why it did. Okay? That understanding soothes. Given a reason for it. I've been given understanding, so my heart has never been truly broken. I may have thought my heart is not hardened. Any hardening of my heart wasn't done by me, at least. So it's not the same. Because if something or someone hardened my heart, spiritually, of course, then it is them that will unharden it. And that knowing would be to know that it's temporary. To choose to harden one's heart is different. I say this because it's just easy. It's better living when you've not had a broken heart or you've chosen to harden your heart. That welcomes hate. That welcomes all those lower, very low emotions. I don't welcome them. I wouldn't choose them. I wouldn't choose hate. Not by my will. I could be angry. I could be frustrated. I can not like the situation. But hate is powerful. To have hate in your heart, I can't relate, but I'm just here to say it's easier when you don't. Because you move on, you get to have the gift of moving on in your life. Spiritually, let's remember this, because on the surface, it doesn't matter where you are, you can still be in bondage, stuck, blind. To have been able to move on spiritually, for it to have been a gift given, to focus on you finally, is the greatest gift for your individuality, for your journey, for your purpose, because ultimately that is what makes you who you are. And you see, when it comes to your past or your future, no one really cares. No one has time for it. They only have time for themselves. But when it comes to me or you, they want you to. They want you to care. And that just won't do. Because we have moved in the spirit. We have moved on. You realize all those wise sayings growing up. You heard them. You now can actually be those exact things. You also now can feel the way you should feel without your heart holding you back, even your mind. Because we may be told that this is the way. This is the tradition. We might have been accustomed to it. And again, to not feel anything, but to be given the gift to be free from all of it. Well, there's no question. There's no question to why you don't feel the way you used to, why you don't care. There's no question. So there's no answer to be said. You just know that that weight has been lifted. And you praise God. That's all. That's all. That's who you praise. That's the only one you praise. The only one. You don't praise no man. You praise only God. Because no one gave you the gift but God. There, you're late. You start to realize how life was always meant for you. Well, for me, life was meant for me to realize, because it's my life. It's not their life. It's my life. Just as someone may expect me to live my own life, to be independent, to be an adult, all these ways of saying it. Okay, well, this is what it feels like. This is what it entails, where you don't care. All you care about is yourself. As in, when you reach a certain maturity, you start to realize you're either with me or you're not. There's no questions. That's just what it is. And no one, again, no one has to like it. No one has to care. That's freedom. Do you see? This is different from just being I guess I would say unmorally selfish. I don't know, that's the only thing that came to me, but it's different. No, this is God given. Because you cared, you cared, you cared. And it brought cracks. It made everything gritty. Right? See, we're so used to saying it broke my heart, but it didn't break my heart. It just cracked it. It made cracks and scars, scarred me. But we went through this. We should be able to be given the chance to evolve truly, physically. not just physically. You say, well, I say, Father, release me. Release me from whatever keeps me burdened, what's heavy. And it is those exact things. Overly caring, release me from my own heart. Right? That keeps me going back. Keeps me saying yes when I know truly it's a no. It's, I don't really care. It wasn't about, it was never about these people not returning the same care. It was never about that. But I did see that they didn't. It was about how it made me feel. I didn't like to feel at the end of the day disappointed. I hated the feeling. I didn't want to keep continuing to put myself through this when I've been already through this. This was asking to be released from something that makes you who you are. It was deep. It was emotional. I remember saying it. My heart, I looked in a reflection when I came home. Right when I walked in, I went to the mirror and I say, my heart, it hurts. I've tried and I've tried. That's all I had to say. That's all I had to say. And then I was free. I was free to choose not to just do. Just do. No, I'm going to choose. And I can choose without my heart interfering. I can actually think about it without actually emotionally just giving in. It hurt me. And I'm sure it would hurt the heavens because, in part, it's what makes the light of the world. It's what makes the beauty in the darkness. Me. That part of me that I have to now be set free from. I have to plead. It didn't take for so many people, so many times. It took enough. Just enough. And I was able to do that at 20. I was able to do that around 25 or 26, I believe. Somewhere around there. But It's all written in my book. You know, it's no pressure to necessarily remember. I just know it was within those two years, somewhere in between there, that it actually happened. There, there, there's a difference. There is. I don't not care because I just don't, deep down I don't really care. It's not like I don't care. It's I do, but it doesn't affect me. Like if I care for something, I can care for it from a distance. It's not going to weigh on me. It's not going to be a burden because there's distance. Mm-mm. I have given my time and my energy and so many other things, I'm sure. So on your journey, it may not look like much. To some, a journey should look busybody, all in this and all in that, and this and that. So many things, so much comfort. It needs to be something every day, something that they could see. Maybe, maybe for them. But you see, it's not about them, it's about me. It's about my journey. And I don't see it that way. Because truthfully, we may expect for us to see something, but we usually don't, or at least the wise sayings go like, you may not know it now, but you will when it's time, or you may not see it, but it's all being worked on. You're being worked on. Things are being worked through for you. While I sit here and I see white walls, meaning all I see is what I see. But this is spiritual growth that we're speaking, that we're needing. This is spiritual. So, of course, I'm not going to see it until I see it, and I'm not going to know it until I know it. It's being worked on in me. I'm not going to be able to see it until I realize it within myself. That's the way the spiritual works. That's where true patient lives. That's where it started. To have patience, whew, is to know the spirit. Because on top of you having to wait regardless with anything, you cannot see. You cannot see. And that is on your psyche makes it kind of makes it feel like an illusion. Because you can't see it. You can't see what you're waiting on. So you sometimes start to just forget it or give up on it or get upset. But with anything just on the surface, we have to wait. What makes the spirit not worthy of your patience? The way that we give it to the surface is because we can see the surface. That's the only thing. Exactly. There is no difference. There should be no partiality. It's just that you can see, and on the other side you can't. That's the only thing. So it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget the spirit because we have to take our time to remind. It's mental. We have to know to see it. I had to take my time to go inside myself when most of the time I'm working outside of myself. I'm doing all this work outside of myself. I'm doing all this work on the flesh, on the natural body. So, yes, it is easier to focus on the surface. And it is harder to take time and to remember what's made second. And that is me initially. And that's what I mean. Why do I have to continue caring about everything else? Everyone else, burdens, extra, more. No, simple, less. Me, that's enough. Let everyone hold their own, please. I've carried, I've held others. But can I hold myself without feeling of guilt? Feeling like I'm not a good person, feeling like I don't have a heart, feeling cold, feeling hardened, without people questioning. Well, luckily, people don't question me. That's just not through my journey. I've not experienced people questioning me. Um, and truthfully, I think because they know me, they know the truth. I don't need to answer to anyone. It's a silent understanding, I believe. It's a silent understanding. How could someone question me in their spirit? Why anyone could, but why would anyone feel in their spirit to? What never chose me. They never cared for me. So the last thing they're gonna do is ask me of something or expect something of me. Now, they will be surprised. I'm sure enough. I'm sure enough about that. They will definitely be surprised about me. But to question me, no. Mm-mm. Like, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why do you live like this? Why? No, I'm sure you know why. For the most part, people leave me alone. I have been left alone. And it has remained that way. To be excluded your whole childhood and then as an adult, it's still the same way. And I wouldn't choose it any different. You want people to keep the same energy? Well, they have in my life. The only difference that I've made is that I've chose me. That looks like just me. Just me. If I choose, right, I'll choose. But no one questions me. And there's freedom. There's freedom there in the spirit. You see how easy it is to leave, go. Go. Because you're free. Because you have nothing. Because you have nothing. Because all you have is you, and that's all you needed. Nothing holding on to you. No one's burdens. No one needing you. No one wanting you. There's a freedom. Though as a child, as it is necessary, we care. And we want to feel needed. And we want to feel wanted. And for me, it wasn't there. But I start to realize he has put me through all that to see you were free from the beginning. You were free from the beginning. May not seem like it physically. Because physically, I'm in the flesh. The flesh wants comfort. The flesh wants to be catered. The flesh has needs. The flesh gets lonely. Or at least what it thinks. What it's programmed to feel or believe. But I say all this to my Father because it is all Him that's done it. Putting you through these necessary stages. I've been free from the beginning. So it's easy for me. It's easy. It's easy, this life. It's not hard. An isolated life was always a free life in the spirit. And when you start to mature on the surface, you start to realize, yeah, it is freedom. It's freedom all around. Because there's a time. And no matter whether you're looking at it from a spiritual perspective or a physical, once you mature, your evolving should be to oneself and in oneself. Nothing outer, nothing more. So it all still equals to this is how your life should have been. This is how you should feel. This is what you should want as a gift, need from God. The greatest gifts. To be free from bondage, from the flesh, from fear, from all these things that I've been given freedom. And I know it will continue. when I realize it, but it has been given. Instead of me expecting gifts that, again, just are, what are they really? If they're not for me. And me is a spirit, a spiritual being. Yeah, you can give me something for the flesh, but I aspire to be free, and that starts in the root of me. And if this is not a gift to help the roots of me, then what is it really? What is it really? What gifts are those really? That is why you find that when you don't care the way you used to, you praise God for the freedom. And you know what? No one can stop that freedom because it was given spiritually. In other words, if I had to say it in a different tone, well, if you give these people the opportunity, if you choose, but let's just say we don't have to, just like we don't have to prove ourselves. We don't have to do anything. We've done it. We've been there. We've been through the darkness. We've been in it. We sat in that. We've given these entities the satisfactory of seeing us, being around our spirit. Something that they want to come close to, try to penetrate. Because again, it was all for their amusement. That's really it. They just want to see you fall. They want to see you not better than them. They want to see you care, overly exert your energy. When they knew that they were never going to give you anything in return, not even satisfactory, not even willing, never going to give you any mercy, never no understanding. Even though they knew this, they watched me, they watched any one of you. They wanted they wanted to keep you. But your silence, your gift from God, tells every one of them, including you, most importantly, that you have achieved one out of many stages, challenges, tribulations. You have achieved and gone through it with such such grace, such heart, such understanding, such mercy, such patience. Yeah, you did, as I'm speaking for myself, really, I did what I was supposed to do, being who I am. And now that I have been given the gift to be free from it, do you think I would be still in those places? Around those people? No. They need to thank the God in me. They need to thank God, because He's the one that kept me there. Yeah, it was me too. But let my Father give me that credit. I don't need to. I just know that God, I'm from my Father. Whatever it is in me that makes me so different, that makes me overly stay, overly care, when there's no satisfactory for me. Where is that from? Who given that to me? Okay, well, God. It's clear as day. You're totally free. And you're totally free when you have no needing to care, no wanting to care. It's even exhilarating when you can reflect on being such a good-hearted person, and still is. But now it can be directed to who I choose, not only, but who actually deserves it. Yeah, because you see, I don't get to pick my family. I don't get to pick those things, who I'm around. But now I do. Evolving in the flesh, evolving in the spirit. Well, each one equaling, moving on. And no one should question you about it. Not only that, but the freedom comes with not feeling guilty even if they do. They can ask all day because that's what people do. But you can answer without fear or without guilt or shame. You can answer very clearly, very confidently, bold. Because I just didn't want to. And that's if you give them that satisfactory to answer such a question when they should know. When they should know why you've chosen you. Maybe because that's what a person should do. But our tradition and our culture, what does that have to do with me, singular? What does that have to do with me as an individual? What does that have to do with what I feel, what I think, and what I believe? Nothing. So there is nothing that anyone can say to make you feel some type of way, because you know who you are. You stand solid and nothing can shake it. And you go on as you continue it in this non-perfect way of living. You go on when you still see white walls and really nothing changing on the surface. You still go on because you know spiritually He has not let you down. Him as in Father God. He has not let me down. If I was expecting some better this, better that on the surface, then I will go to work and work for it physically. If I'm expecting to get a better place, a better car, anything that exists on the surface, well, then work for it, I guess. Work for it. But I'm not looking for those things. I work enough just to get what I need and still be able to spoil me if I want something, and I don't want much. So I don't need to make much. I'm working toward whatever this is outside of it. I'm working in ways to help prevent, control, and create at the root of this all. I'm not fixing and working on the surface. I'm going to the root of it. I'm going where it all started. I'm taking these testimonies. I'm taking my plea to the counsel of God in the spiritual realms. I speak to Him. He hears me. He sees me. He listens. That's what I'm working. That's where I'm working. That's what I work towards. And He has not let me down. This is where my philosophy comes from. I don't need a book. I don't need a script. I don't need you, them, or they. I don't need a mother or father. I don't need a sister or brother. I don't need anybody. I just need me. I don't need a teacher. I don't need a preacher. I just need me. And who is inside me? My Father. Who teaches me? My Father. Who guides me? My Father. Who gives me counsel? My Father. Who helps me? My Father. Who's there when I'm alone in the darkness? Who is there when it is light and I am happy and I am joyful and I'm me again? My Father. He's been through it all. He's been there from the beginning. He's going to be there to the end. My Father. My Father this, my Father that. Yeah, my Father. Not from the natural body, from the Spirit, the one that created my soul, the one that created my existence. The one that loves me regardless, because He knows me through it all, through the lowest. When I'm at my lowest, when I'm at my highest, He has seen every part of me and still chooses me. I don't have to do this of myself. I don't have to sit here and someone say I'm boasting, because I don't have to speak about myself for someone to consider it. But in other words, I don't have to speak for myself. If I do, then I do. And if I boast, then I boast. But I shouldn't. And you shouldn't have to, because again, there is a witness. And that witness is my Father. And He just happened to be the creator of the worlds. He just happened to be the person that can not just destroy the body, but can destroy the soul, meaning your whole entire existence will be wiped out. You talk about lineage. You're so worried about your legacy. All of that will be forgotten. You talk about amnesia, dementia. You talk about things fading, not being able to remember such spiritual things. Well, we won't be able to remember you, period. Like, you won't even be a factor What, in a theory? There'd be no theory of you. He makes it so we can remember certain things. He makes it to exist. When you say, why does your mind think this way? Or why did I think of this? Because it exists. Because it exists. The eyes have seen, the mind has known, the heart has felt, because it exists, even if you feel it shouldn't. Even if it isn't right. Well, we're in a world of evil and good, so you will see the things of his existence. He has made it so for us to bear witness to such things. Just because it exists don't mean it's all good. And no. We just know that it exists. And we just know that there's evil and there is good. And we're in the midst of it. So bear witnessing is our duty. We have no choice. And if he did not want you to be in existence, you wouldn't. And that is my Father. Whereas man can destroy the body, the natural body, as they like to do. But your soul is his. Your soul is my Father's. So who should you fear? Such a person. And here's the thing. You only fear because you're confused. Whereas I'm not confused. And I don't fear my Father. But it is you that should fear him. Because you don't fear man. Let me say this. Because I said that wrong. you fear, okay, how can I say this? To me, when Father says, fear me, he only is saying that because you are confused. Or that's the way it's showing. Meaning you give more fear, you give more fear to man. And he's saying you should not be fearing man when he can only destroy the body, not the soul. That's what I'm saying. That I'm a person that knows. And if you know, then you know that God doesn't want you to fear him. Just like you know you shouldn't fear anyone. Because fear has to do with bondage. Fear, it has to do with bondage. And when you fear something, that means there's no love there. There's no true love there. Excuse the noise, they're kind of here late for some reason. But fear has to do with bondage, and to me, fear has nothing to do with love. There's no love there. No one that loves you wants you to fear them. No one. Again, someone that loves you does not want you to fear them. And this is God the Almighty. He's saying if you're going to fear anyone, you should fear me. is how you understand that verse. I know that that verse exists, and I don't need a script or a verse to tell me what that means because I have an actual relationship with him. And I also have common sense. That doesn't take a book to tell me everything. I have God in me to know. I personally don't fear anymore. So what does that tell me? It tells me that you shouldn't fear, period. It's not a higher calling gift. It's not something that you're going to see the higher you get. The higher you get, that will fall in. That right there falls away. That should be taken away from you. That weight. Whatever that is, that sort of entity, that spirit of fear, the bondage, the curses, whatever it looks like in the spiritual realm. Because it may look like something. It may look like a chain attached to you somehow. Who knows? They might have a with your picture or your figure, there might be like a stone there. Once they take the stone away, that's one less thing that was keeping you. Now you're free. Now you're free from. God doesn't want you to fear anything. But if you're fearing man, I mean, look around and you don't fear God because look at your actions. Because you don't see him. So you're underestimating him without even saying it. Your actions are showing it. That is beyond disrespectful. And to him, I'm sure he's going to be like, you need to be humbled. Any right-minded person would say, okay, they only would fear me if they seen me. How about that? But they also are the same ones that will say that they believe in me. The same ones. But if they believed in such person, why would they have to see me then? Then that's defeating the purpose of believing. The reason why you have to believe in him, he is where believing is created. This is not just, I believe in you, even though I see you, but I still believe that you can do all that you can do. This is not that. This is believing where I've not seen you, I've not heard of you, but I believe you exist. Not that you just existed. So since you feel that way, since I see that you give all of this, all of what you are to man, a person that is just like you, that shouldn't be no better than you. This goes into topics of what I previously spoke about, classification, diversity. It opens up why that has come to be. Well, the theory of what is the worldly philosophy. And the worldly philosophy is the way that we see is how we judge you. We're only judging you off from what we see. Even though we can go beyond the veil and come to know you. We are not that type of God. We only want to judge you from the surface. That is our worldly doctrine. Even though we can choose to not, we choose this way. God, my God says, well, I'm going to choose you, even though I can't choose to judge you from the surface. I'm going to choose you. I'm I'm going to judge you based off of your intentions. So it could be much more of a fair judgment on why you may have done it. Because we always want to say, well, I've done it because of this and I had to do it. Okay, well, let me find out why you had to do it. Because if it's a crime, then it's a crime. But until you're proven guilty. But we know that you did it. And that is why you're taken to court and you should be treated and sentenced fairly. Your sentence should fit the crime. Who sounds like a fair God? It should not have been a question. Your eyes should have seen such things. Your ears should have bear witness to such ways in this world. He's right at my front door. That's what makes us witnesses in his house, while we're in their house, while we're in their world, while we are like them, look like them. But how does God know? Well, God's philosophy says, I search within them. I know where I put you. Because in his philosophy, in his ways, he will look within the person to realize who this is. He never lied. He never was unfair. And then we want to cry. We want to be upset because we're treated unfairly. Okay, when was this, all of this from the beginning? You want to cry when it's hit your home, when they're treating you unfairly, when it's been unjust. Now in your life, where was all of this in the beginning? God never changed his ways. See, what it was is selfish intent. Choosing it wasn't a gift taken for you to be able to be self-driven. No. See, what happened was greed and all of this happened where in your bubble, your life was good. Your life was nice. No one was bothering you. So you could care less about fair treatment. You didn't question it. You didn't question their ways, their doctrine, in their house. And I did. I did because I knew it was wrong. And it always will be. And yes, I just happen to be in poverty and you just happen to be born rich. Okay? But there's still similarities. We still could choose to see it. Speak about it. But now that the riches are gone, now you're treated unfairly all of a sudden. You want to cry to my father. Well, no, you cry to your father. You cry to the man that you're worshiping, that you follow, that you had no problem with. His doctrine, you spread it. You was Jehovah's Witness. You was knocking down doors telling that doctrine. Yeah, you were workers in his house. You see, but you don't want me to say those things because, I should be high and mighty. What does that have to do with being righteous? It's the truth, is it? Is it not the truth? Being high and mighty and righteous is all about the truth. It's just I'm exposing you. But you don't want to hear it. See, that's the reflection, the hard truth, isn't it? Listen, regardless if you don't want me to say it, and I'm his daughter, you're going to hear it. This is just a preview of it. This is judgment. Whether you get it now, you're going to get it eventually. Your book is already written. You already done it. It's already been done. It's already been seen. Not just by me. You got your angels reporting back. You got Satan, your own father. Amen? And he's not an advocate for you. That's Jesus. Why are you over here being an antichrist? You see, your own father tells on you because he's saying you're a fool. You got to understand where he gets his power, his authority. He gets it from my Father, our Father, the one that you choose to say don't exist, that you may say is dead because your father, Satan, is the one that rules, is the one that you see. But his father is the one that gives him the seat, gives him this world to rule. So don't be a fool. Humble yourself. It's just those simplest things. Humble yourself because it doesn't make sense not to. It comes to a point where the only reason why you are the way you are is because that's just the way you were created. That's ultimately where the mind goes, unfortunately. Because who in their right mind would curse God for the fun of it? And to know that your soul is in risk of judgment, harsh judgment, from someone that can destroy the soul. Again, that tells my mind, my soul, that you must be a character in my journey. You just must be a distraction. You must just be like a program. A program that was created to go against him. And maybe I am telling the truth, but I like to think that we're all significant as we are, but I would think that we see, this is where my heart comes in, because it doesn't allow me to speak such selfishly, speak so centered. Because truthfully, what I was going to say was that it feels like a dream, where in a dream you are the center. And everything else is whatever it is. And to me, it's gray. It's foggy because you're the center. It's about you, and it's always been about you. I don't like to think that, because I actually have dreams to be able to pinpoint that that's just in my dream world. But this is reality. And I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately, you're making me have no choice but to come to realize this. But not because I wanted to, because of your actions. Are you just a program? And someone can say, well, we're all programs. Okay, well, I technically don't speak like that. I don't use my interpretations in that way. But they could all mean the same thing, yeah. And that's why this interpretation leads me this way. It's all the same message. Program meaning you're not really real in this stimulation. The only thing real is me. You know, like the movie The Matrix. Same message. It's just they use it in their way, but it's always the same message, right? I'm awake, the black sheeps, but they use it in their way. I guess that's them speaking in their way, right? Their code. And the ones that see themselves in those things and those characters in the movies, then they'll see and they'll understand it. And I'm just saying that yes, they all mean the same message. And I was just about to use it that way because it's just hard to believe. The heart in me, I don't even know if it's the heart thing. Just the soul, who I am. Like, meaning if I was created to not think that way, I don't naturally think that way. I don't think that, oh, you just, and I can't, my soul doesn't want to even say it, but it is the truth. So I never want to think someone's insignificant and that I'm just the only thing significant. I don't naturally speak that way. And I don't naturally feel that way. Yes, I can feel like, oh, I have this integrity, I have this strength, but I only feel that way because I built myself up. I earned it. I worked for it. So that is the proudness, the natural pride I have. Again, natural pride. It's a natural pride that you get when you stand up for something and you say, I stood up for it, and you beat your chest. That's accepted. I'm not prideful off of things I didn't work for. I'm not prideful off of a story I've not triumphed and conquered through. I'm not prideful off of someone else's story that I could be telling. No, I tell my own prosperous perseverance story. And I'm proud when I speak about my father and what he has done, all the darkness he put me through. Again, that should tell you I'm proud of the darkness. Why? Because I've been through it to see what I've become, even still in it. Still in it. So yes, it's a natural pride. I'm naturally proud of myself. I don't have to try. So yes, I'm not naturally quote unquote programmed to feel anything outside of that. Anything that's synthetically artificial. You see, meaning artificial pride, artificial integrity. That's not me. So that's why I don't understand how people can be that way. And this is where my soul has to speak for me, because I don't know what I know until I know it. And so I take my time to speak because I start to see through the things that I speak. No book has to tell me. No wise sayings have to tell me this is how you should be or this is what you are. It's like, no, I've seen it. You know, if a book told me I shouldn't be if a book told me I shouldn't be proud, that's not a good thing. I have lived to know the difference. So there's no book that has to tell me that if I'm being proud, it's not a good thing. No, I have natural pride. And if there's a book out there that talks about that, then kudos to that. But I don't need a book to tell me that, because I naturally have worked my way through all of this to be able to speak what I know. And this is how I know it, because I have worked my way to be able to speak these things off of experience. Everything that I'm saying, I didn't come on here with a script. I just came to speak. So again, I naturally don't understand, meaning I've been here physically, I've lived here to know that you can, as in you can act like a prideful person, but I'm speaking of me. And since I have worked for everything, like to build myself up to have a story such as this and to have knowledge and wisdom, that is all that I know. That pride, that natural pride. I don't know how it feels to do plagiarism. I don't know how it feels to be an imposter, right? My quote unquote program is, you see what I'm saying? It's all the same thing. It's just how you interpret the message. So I understand what they mean when they speak like that. We're all programs and this and that. But I like to believe that I speak more down to earth. I have my own story to tell you. I don't have to say a program. I'm a human being, you know? I lived this life. I experienced things. I have feelings. Well, I'm going to sit here and say the program has feelings, the program and the energy of the this and that. And it's just like, okay. But I know that I can edify it for everyone when I speak more down to earth. Because when you say program, it just doesn't make you sound that down to earth. So, like I was saying, the conversation that led up to this was I was coming to the point of realizing that it doesn't make sense when people are whoever they may be, but they don't, whatever they say they say, right? Whether they say they hate God or not even that they hate God, but that he doesn't exist. Um, Either they just, full with hate, they're upset, they don't mean it, right? In their soul, their soul knows, and I'm sure every soul knows because every soul will call on the Lord Jesus, right? But I'm speaking on the ones that don't fear God, but fears man, worships man, doesn't worship, well, not even, see, I don't even like the word worship, but worships man. Because God, you don't have to worship God. Just loving someone, if I love you, I'm not worshiping you. That term can be used out of context. Yes, it could have been meant to be simple and just a form of um and like fellowship and all that, looking upon someone with highest regard, all that. But then it's that other side where no, worship is worship. Like I'm kissing your feet, I'm this and that. Like I'm a, the negative part of it. And I'm sure that's why we don't see worship too much. At least I don't. I've not seen it. Like worship this, worship that. It's come to be, from my understanding, a term because of what people's actions have been showing. You're worshiping, because again, if you're going to worship anything, worship God. But I'm sure God doesn't even want you to worship him. Because when I hear worship, there's no sincerity there. Usually when you see someone worshiping, they lay down like their morals. They'll lay their morals down for whoever wants them to worship. I don't know, but I don't worship God. I don't worship Jesus. You know, like I have my own integrity. You know what I mean? He's my God, but what do I need to worship him for? You see, there's sincerity there because I actually love him. I actually care for him. I actually want to listen. I actually need to listen. I actually know he is the way. Where is their worship in that? I actually know he's my teacher. I actually want him to be. I actually need him to be my teacher. Where is their worship? I don't need to give God money. Where's their worship? God is not going to ask me for money. There's no worship there. So worshiping other things outside of him, that's your business. But when it comes to God, I'm sure God doesn't want you to worship him. And let me tell you this, if the verses say something about Jesus bowing down to him, that's your spirit because your soul is his. You may not, but your soul knows who he is. Every person will bow. Yeah, and this ain't worship. No, it's the fact that this is your creator, period. You may not have been allegiance with him, but your soul is his. It's like what you would see a natural reaction to something. You can't help it. You're in the presence of a God. You can't help it. You're going to fall. You're going to fall to your knees. And that's not worship. That's just what it is. There's a difference. There's a difference. When you have God in the back of you, in the front of you, on the side of you, who else do you need? You not caring, me not caring, is because I don't have to anymore. I used to fear. I used to have something to worry about, literally, because I had no choice. There was a time for it. I don't have to anymore. I have a choice now. I have no more fear. It's necessary until it isn't. It exists until it doesn't. And while it exists, then you admire it, you see it, you learn from it, you get to know it, you bear witness to it until you don't have to. Temporary. And the whole fulfillment is to be free eventually, is it not? And that's with anything and everything. We eventually want to reach a stage where we can now let go, let free, be done with all the things that hold us. So, what am I saying really? Well, I'm saying exactly what fulfillment truly is. So, why could it be so foreign to a person? Oh, because they have not reached that richness. They have not reached or witnessed such fulfillment. And this ain't even it yet. This is just parts of it. But this is all of what my philosophy is. Me not caring anymore and I used to. Me not fearing anymore, but I used to. And you can keep going with anything that you can imagine. I used to do this, but I don't do it anymore. I used to be this, but I'm not that anymore. I was once a child, but now I'm no longer. It is all temporary. We should all be evolving, whether it's physically, spiritually, regardless, and anything that you may expect, right? If that be money, if that be this, that whatever you choose. But most importantly, it's the physical, because the physical will do it regardless. It will move without you. It will grow because it's a living organism. You see, here it is. You are living, the body is as well. The body is a living organism. The body is a living organism. It breathes. It has pores. It works. It works. And what are you doing? Well, you're inside of it. You're inside of this living organism, but you are alive. The body's going to do what the body is created to do without you. When the body feels it's tired and it's done, it will be done. It will stop. It's going to, regardless. That's the point. Regardless. Wanted you to see that you as well is a living thing. And with you, on the other hand, you have to work on you. The body is running on its own. You need to work on you because you're what keeps the spirit going. You are the spirit. You're the existing of it. Right? You're the fire. You're the light in the darkness. You have to work on that. You have to work on you. So everything is temporary, and that's a good thing. We should not mourn it. But there are people not liking that. Simple fact. Temporariness. Let it be. Just let it be. Leave it alone. Let God work. Let his works be. Stop always trying to change something. Right? You're perfect. You're exactly, like you hear, you're exactly where you need to be. He put you here for a reason. If you say that you believe in such things, then why are you trying to change it? Hypocrites. That's exactly what it means. I'm not calling you it, but that's what they'd say. Hypocrites. You hear it from me, you're going to hear it from him eventually because he sees the things within you. He knows the ones that truly don't believe, but they say on the surface they do, but your actions show otherwise. And who knows the truth? Only him. But I still know how people are. I know that there's hypocrites. And they say that they're this and they say that they're that. There's levels to it because we're all hypocrites to some extent. But my goodness, I mean, are we going to continue on being hypocrites in everything? If we can help it. I mean, I get we're not perfect, but we're talking about believing in God. How can we be hypocrites in that? It's either you do or you don't. It's either you are or you're not. This is about oneself, and if you truly know yourself, then why is there I don't get it. That just means you're a liar. That's just what it means. You're just choosing to lie to look a certain way. This has nothing to do with being imperfect. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't take a movie for you to see that if at the end, when judgment comes, that preacher in that church was left behind and they wonder why. And the preacher confesses and says, well, I never truly believed, but I preached on believing in God. Well, God could have told you that, but he showed you it by keeping that preacher there for you to see. And he chose to confess because, I mean, that was the truth. And he had really no choice because it was the end. The rapture. He waited to the end. And still at the end, he probably wouldn't have said anything because he didn't. He only said something because he was left behind. Right? You have all this time. If you've been in these seats for 50 years, that's like pretty much your whole life. Because in human years, we only live to 100. But I'm saying that you had all this time, and it's usually in the end that people still will take it to the grave. And that is why he says, why do you fear man? Why do you fear such a people when I know the truth? He knew that you never believed in him, preacher. He knew that you never believed in him, deacon. He knew that you never believed in him, person that has divinity degree. He knew. He knows. He knows that you never believed in him, first lady. He knows you don't believe in. He knows that you don't. Y'all don't believe in him. But the people don't. The people don't, first lady. The people don't, preacher. The people don't, beacon. The people don't, with the degrees of divinity and becoming a pastor, and the people don't. No. So God knows the truth, and you fear man. I don't even think you fear man. You fear more what you won't get. You fear not having nothing, being left with nothing, being looked at as nothing. You see, to mankind, what matters is what people think of you as, what you're known for, what you'll be remembered for. And this goes opposite to what my philosophy is. So now I gotta go into the worldly philosophy. Again, they care about what people think. Even if it's a lie, they will lie. They will steal, they will cheat to make it seem like what it isn't. When God knows he's watching you and you're a preacher and you should know this. But since you were never truly a believer, right? You never truly have faith, never truly took God seriously, of course, then you wouldn't take him seriously. But the people don't know that, and that's why you'll be held at a higher standard. Not because I said so, but because you chose to be in a position such as this. That's it. That leads to that type of judgment. We will all be judged, and then there's an order to things, right? There's an order to the gifts he's given to people. There's an order to what you've chosen in life, your decisions, your careers. That's why it's important to not choose a career you really hate, or choose a career where it's a career where you are a leader in some way, especially a leader of God. Now, if you're a leader of Satan, then I'm sure you can be all imperfected and sinful and unbelieving and faithless. Yeah, because you're working in his house. That's the whole part of his works is to work faithless. And I'm sure a lot of people don't like that much responsibility, right? We all have responsibilities regardless on whatever level they classify us, the lowest to the highest. But the more higher you go, just as spiritually, the more higher you go. Like how I aspire to be on a council, I am on a council. Well, I'm sure I'm going to be judged at a higher standard, of course. Physically, if I was a judge, one of the highest seats. Because again, if you're a judge, then you're judging the world. You're judging people. You have their life in your hands. That's one of the highest callings. Not callings, but the highest seats. And anybody could go to school for it. Anyone can go to school to be a judge as long as you pass your test. You see, the message is always the same. You got to pass these tests in order to become these things. But here's the catch. The criteria is not quite the same. You would thought to, again, Father's philosophy, your intentions, who you are inside, your character should play a part. But on the surface, in the physical world, the natural world, well, they may not be able to see those things or know those things, and you may be wanting to hide such things. So all they can judge you off of is your test scores and maybe your recommendations. And they may just ask you, why do you want this career? And give us a story. That's about it. But ultimately, as long as you study from their books, their ways, and you pass the test, you can become an attorney, you can become a judge. And now you have this responsibility. And you could be a crooked person inside. Duh, this is Gotham City. My goodness, this is their world. They're the ruler. Crooked. Not straight. Crooked. But, it was told. We were warned. But everything connects. And so for adults, at least, this is not for children. We should have all come to realize this. It shouldn't take a movie for us to be like, oh, wait a second. This seems familiar. Is this our world? Mm-mm. You're either like me or you're one of them. That's it. And if you're oblivious, then that's a child to me. You have to be a child. And if you ain't no child, you will be judged according to acting oblivious. Yeah. Because again, God knows the intentions. He knows who truly. It's not complicated. If you try to act like you can't, if you try to not see the evil, if you try not to speak the evil, my goodness, man, you might as well be one of them. We did not come into this world to play Playhouse Disney, as I like to say. We did not just come into this world to keep procreating in this sin. Yes, I get it. You're not choosing to be a worker in his house. You don't want to be a worker of God. You quote unquote for what it is want to be a follower. Because truly, if you were, you wouldn't be able to stand these things. You wouldn't be able to be quiet. So for you to be for me to see, for God to see that you're quiet and you don't do anything, well, give us no choice but to say, well, you weren't helping the situation, you weren't preventing it. So you were an enemy. You were a work of iniquity. It's all the same. You might as well be a work of iniquity because you chose not to see and you've seen these things. You know, workers of iniquity do that. They turn a blind eye to it. You know, to injustice, corruption. When that child, that person needed help, you chose not to be a witness, chose to not help that person. That person could have had a lighter sentence or no sentence. Your vote, your witnessing would have made a significance. So all will be judged. If you just thought that you could just be here and not do anything, but just physically labor and think that's enough and make your money and mind your business and have a family. If you thought that was enough, okay, who am I? But I am here to tell you that you will be judged off of that because that's not what life is about when this is not even life that you're living. But you try to make it when all of this is showing that it's darkness, crevices, broken pits, snares, disgust, moth eating, mildew, mold, infested. And to think that you tried to build a Playhouse Disney and create it on such disgust is beyond, I can speak for all, beyond them, beyond me. That's disgusting to see that you built on land of mold, that mildew surrounds you. I'm sure mildew will be seeping through your walls. Yeah, I'm sure mold will be under your floors. Yeah, but you'll go to bed at night in what you created within this. Don't tell me I didn't warn you. And I'm sure you did know. To think that all of this was to be and had become ours to hold, ours to carry, a few. To see we are the chosen few, to see why when the time comes, everyone will see. But to see that in the world, we carry this because you choose not to carry it and mind your business and feel it's not your control or your duty, to feel that was you wasn't your purpose in the world of coming here or existing. Okay. If that's what you want to think, if that's who you want to be, okay. All I will say is don't cry to me, don't cry to him. Don't be that person outside the door asking to come in. when you know that you only been a work of iniquity, that you've done no work really? When will you learn? And I'll leave it there.